So welcome to the webinar for Better Life Skills through Life Coaching Certification. I want to introduce myself. My name is Susie Raymond. I am the owner of White Sage, and I have been a clear inner focus life coach for over 13 years. In addition to that, I also teach the certification class, which we're going to be talking about. I teach Reiki, practice Reiki, and I'm an esthetician. I am delighted to share this information with you today, and I want to turn it over to my co-host, teacher, mentor, friend, Patty Jackson, and let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Susie. I'm Patty Jackson, and I'm the founder of Clear Inner Focus. And Susie and I met, how many years ago did you say?
I think 13.
13, yeah. And I've been coaching since 2004, when it was a field in Wisconsin that no one knew about. It was a strange field over in California. And I'm excited to be here today with it being a discipline that so many people know about and are excited about. And so the curriculum that you will be hearing about today is something that has been shared and actually grown by every single person that comes to the class. Our learning, our growing, we're always evolving. And in every class, I know there's constantly evolving to what happens in the curriculum, because that's what we're about, is helping people grow and grow faster and not make it be so hard. So thanks for being here.
Yes. And how we'd really like to begin is practicing one of the foundational concepts of creating your intention for what you would really love to receive from this webinar. Let's just take a moment and we'll share that. I'll share what our intention is together, is to just really create a place where we can talk about life coaching. We can demonstrate some of the skills that we use in life coaching and the benefits of how these life coaching skills have helped me navigate regular human stuff in relationships, in my business as an entrepreneur, in my relationship with my children, with my husband. We also will share with you and go through some of the foundational concepts. When you think of an intention, all an intention is checking in with your heart and asking your heart, what is my desire? What is my desire to receive from this information that I'm giving my time and energy to? We'll take a minute just to get really clear on that. And then if anyone is willing to share what their intention is.
My intention is to celebrate. Anybody sitting here is already doing what we do as a coach, and that's interrupting the old pattern, taking a stop, a pause, a break, and deciding something new. And so anyone here, I'm celebrating you for watching this, for listening, and for sticking with for a minute. This is something new. I'm being asked what my intention is, and still staying here and staying with that feeling inside of like, whoa, what is it that I want? So my intention is to celebrate, and my intention is to also help people understand what the coach certification program is and if it's the right fit for them. Thanks.
Thanks, Patty.
Yay, thank you. My intention goes kind of beautifully off of that because it is presence. So my intention is to stop and pause and be here so that when I get to my work later in my day, I can really focus and be there as well. So thank you both.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my intention is to connect and to be open to receive, and that exchange of giving and receiving and connecting.
Wonderful.
Thanks, if anyone else has an intention, feel free to throw it in the chat. Otherwise, while you're thinking, I'll give you a minute to just check in again. Wow, what brought me here today? And what is it that is calling to me? And then I want to share that the two people here have actually gone through life coach certification recently with Susie as their trainer. So it's pretty exciting that they're here and can share their experience. Over to you, Susie.
Yes. So one question that we often get is, what is the difference between coaching and counseling? And why would I choose life coaching versus counseling? And I would love to have you share a little bit about that, Patty.
When I was in life coach training years ago, they said it's like when you're cleaning up underneath the refrigerator and you see all the Cheerios and everything else. Do you want to pick up every Cheerio and go, how did it get here? Or do you just want to get to the clean floor underneath? But in present day language, what I believe that coaching is what I train coaches to do, and we train coaches to do at Clear Inner Focus, is just to be able to be present, to listen to your heart, to stay right in your own chair, in your own body when you're listening to someone else, and to be able to, if their story starts to snag you and get you believing in right and wrong, to just come right back to like, I wonder, what do they want and what is their answer and how can I help them? And when I stay in those three places, I wonder, what is it that they want? What's their answer and how can I help them see it? My own intuition helps me powerfully respond to them, but that's not easy at first. We're humans and we're used to jumping in and giving advice, or we're used to getting caught up in the story of right or wrong, or all kinds of other things that we normally do. So in coaching, what we do is we listen to people in present day and help them look at their gifts, their strengths, help them understand their emotions and how they can turn those emotions into a clear inner focus, a clear solution that they want, and then powerfully take steps forward to fulfill them. Now, the past does come into play, and counseling really looks at the past to help people understand who they are today from the past. But in coaching, what we do is we look at the past from the framework of that's normal human stuff. Everybody has had bumps and bruises along the way. Everyone has had places where someone has hurt them. And I don't want to undermine the intensity and that some hurts, granted, are a lot bigger than others. But you've met some people who have a really small hurt and they can't let go of it. And it's a really big thing. And you've met some people who've had really big hurts and they've moved on. So in coaching, we just look at the past, look at what you learned from it, so you can forgive it and apply today what you learned from the past. So it's a today and forward focused modality instead of looking at all the years behind us.
Thank you. That's a great, I love the Cheerio analogy. And what I also heard in the beginning with your intention is coaching is helping us learn how to change patterns. And so even that very common problem or common pattern, rather, when someone comes to me with a problem, to give advice, to offer what I think they should do. And that is not what coaching is. Coaching is asking powerful questions, trusting that our clients, we each and every one of us knows and understands what we need. But sometimes it's really hard to move to that internal heart and find those answers when we're on our own. We just get caught up in the old patterns and kind of spin. And what I have found so beneficial through life coaching certification is the foundation is that we learn to coach, but we learn to coach ourselves. So we're coaching ourselves every day and using the concepts and the tools. And then from that point, like, we build our own experiences in how coaching works, and that helps us coach others and understand the common human stuff that we're each like. It doesn't matter if I haven't experienced the same situation, I probably have experienced the same emotion.
Yeah, I love that explanation. And what you said is that we're coaching ourselves all the time. And really, that's what it is. If you're here listening to this, you are already naturally a life coach. I'm sure that you've helped people many times, answered them in a way that they get their aha, and you love that feeling of them lighting up. The problem is sometimes our clients in front of us are dealing with the same challenges that we have in our own life. And the certification program really helps you understand how to navigate so you can stay present, listening to them in a helpful manner for them, and maybe even learn something from them instead of getting caught up in the right and wrong and getting worried about how you're going to be able to help them. So this is a lot of talk about what it might be, but we wanted to give you some concrete points about what we're teaching and how it works. And so some of the strategies and tools that we use might be helpful to share. What do you think, Susie?
Yeah, I was thinking one of the most important strategies, just to kind of follow up on that, when someone comes to me and asks me for advice, the old pattern might be, sharing what I think. One of the most powerful tools that anyone can use anytime is asking a powerful question.
Yeah, and a lot of people go, what's a powerful question? Or I'm asking questions all the time. And what we help people understand is a powerful question has to do with, what am I learning? What's right with me? Or what solution do I want? And there's a bunch of different ways you can ask that question. The disempowering questions are, what's wrong with me? Blame, fault finding, whose fault is this? And what can I do right now before finding out what you really want? And so understanding the difference between a powerful question and a disempowering question is huge.
Can you think of an example of a powerful question versus a disempowering question?
Sure. A powerful question is, do you think that a powerful question might be, I'm trying to think of a situation. Right now, you, Susie, you asked me a powerful question and I'm fumbling around trying to find the answer. And that's what we do as coaches. We ask questions that you don't know the answer to first. One of the powerful questions is, well, what would you like instead? Yes. Well, I don't want them to be yelling at me, but what do you want? Well, and then there's the fumbling around. I'm so focused on what I don't want that I can't even find the answer to what I do want. And in a coaching situation, we provide the comfort for people to look around and find, oh, what is it that I want? Yeah. So I might not have given you an example of a powerful question, but I did give you an example of a powerful demonstration of how a powerful question works.
Yes,
is that good enough?
That was great. That was amazing.
I have something to share just that feels inspired by that as well, was just like the power of flipping your focus. So a kind of a different route, but with the powerful question, like placing it in a way that they can respond in an empowered way.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, asking something like, who will you know yourself to be?
Yeah.
Is a really powerful question that I learned in the training that I continue to use on myself and while I'm coaching. And it brings it into, I think, like this state of, I get to be this person in that response. Instead of focusing on, like you said, what's wrong with you, or bringing any energy and attention to that, what we focus on expands. So being able to flip the focus into, okay, how will you feel when you are this person? Yeah. And how will you recognize that has been really powerful. So thank you.
Mackenzie, when you ask people that question, how long does it usually take them to come up with an answer?
A long time. It definitely takes practice as a coach to hold space and know that they are coming to that answer. And that's part of it, is that maybe awkward or uncomfortable, or even sometimes not having an answer and not knowing because maybe they haven't even considered that before.
Yeah. I love that you said that. And that is one of the first things when I first started coaching, that was so hard, because in everyday life, I could be talking and I could do a coaching skill. I could ask a powerful question, but then you'd see that look on someone's face like, and in the olden days, before learning all this, I would be like, oh no, I said something wrong. Because I could see people flipping their focus from this is what I don't want to like, oh, wait a minute, and having to turn back in and check in with their heart instead of turning into who do I want to be and not knowing that answer. And so a lot of people hear holding space and what does that mean? What does that mean? What it means is when working with someone else and they hit a pivot and they start to pivot and they show emotion on their face and they are in that confused and uncomfortable place of finding a new answer within, to be able to trust that what you said was right, it's helpful, and that they don't have to have the answer right away. And as people who really care about other people, that can be really challenging at first. Is that what you were explaining to Mackenzie? That feeling? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I also sometimes remind myself that like 1 week session, if it's an hour long, that it has like so much residual impact. And so just like trusting in that as well. Because I think as coaches and humans, it can feel good to feel like complete in a session. We talked about this in our training, like wanting to feel like you've tied someone up in a nice bow and sent them on their way, but like that's not life. That's not reality. So
Right. And the fun thing about it is that urge always to feel like I'm tying you off in a nice bow and sending you on your way, and remembering like, wait a minute, this person has been in that body in this life for years and years and years, and they're the ones learning how to tie bows. Oh, that's right. So when they leave, they're still working on whatever they came with, and they're so capable. And like I've done my part, and now they're capable. And the fun for me thing is about session 3 when things start clicking. First it's just like starting to get the momentum turned around, and by session 3, when things start really clicking and you start pointing out the things that are working that they're not aware of, and all of a sudden they become aware of, oh my gosh, that is new and different. And then their focus starts to focus on what's working instead of what's not working, and how that builds momentum. Oh man, that's the best.
It is the best. It's such a rewarding feeling. I recently had a conversation with someone who was investigating coaching, and she signed up and we met this just only one time. And she said, I have been so hopeful just from our consultation to our first,
yeah,
it was starting.
Yeah.
So Patty, I wonder, just going into the holiday season and stress that can occur, if we should talk about and teach the 4 things you can control.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And I love going into the holiday season, going into anything,
Right.
Any group situation, anything. Asking that question, who do you want to be, is so cool, because we find our fulfillment when we're doing what we want to do and being who we want to be. And therefore, we know we play a part in life. We need to do. And when you back it with who you're being, you're fulfilled. So that means we have some things we can control, and there's a whole lot of things we can't control. And knowing the difference is so important, because then your energy stays here. You can stay doing what you want to do, being what you want to be. You can be patient. So many good things happen when you stay, quote, grounded within yourself. And so the 4 things that you can control are really 4 things you can always check in with, so that you can let go of over controlling, manipulating, beating up on yourself, thinking disempowering questions, and all those things, and stopping and getting realigned and getting back into that groundedness within yourself. We know we can get ourselves worked up, but the 4 things that you can control are really 4 things that help you talk yourself back down again. And those things are, take it away, Susie.
I love that description. So the 4 things are, the very first one that is so foundational is your breath. We have it. It's our life force energy. We are breathing all the time to stay alive, but how often are we conscious of it? And so if we just pause when things are feeling out of control, and I recommend that you practice this when things are in control, practice it at a stop sign, find a regular practice of paying attention to your breath. So taking that nice deep breath is something that we always can control. And when we're in fight or flight, we're breathing shallow, very shallow in the chest. When we take a nice deep breath, we are signaling our body to move into rest and relaxation. So just, even if you don't remember anything, but that I can control my breath, that will make a difference. Right. So when we bring in the breath, it does ground us. It takes us out of that swirly. So let's just practice just taking a moment. Coming into the breath. And then the second most important thing is our focus. The concept of what we focus on expands. And we recognize and can use that if, for me recently, I bought a new car. And so I was focused on that kind of car that I wanted in that color, and I kept seeing it everywhere. What I focus on expands. And we can use that concept both to help us, or like Patty was talking about earlier, when we kind of get into the chaos and I'm focusing on the I can't, I don't know how, that's going to expand. But when we focus on what our desire is, what I want, who do I want to be, you'll feel the energy and you'll start noticing that things feel lighter. The third thing we can control is our imagination. And so using that what if and activating the imagination. And honestly, it has been something I've had to relearn as an adult, to tap into my imagination, to imagine what the outcome of whatever the situation is. I can always control that. I can't necessarily I know I can't control the people around me, but I can imagine how I want it to unfold. And that imagining piece and coming into wonder versus worry really helps to ground me and to see the possibilities of what might unfold. And then the very fourth concept that we can control is our response to a situation. And the response is different from your reaction. So your reaction is something that's kind of, someone cuts in front of you as you're driving, you might have a reaction to lay on the horn. Your response is coming back into your breath and recognizing they might be racing to the emergency room. I'm just going to back off and be gentle. Checking in and responding to myself in a situation. What do I need right now is a powerful tool. Just asking myself that question. And then my response will very quickly come up. So those are the four things: your breath, your focus, your imagination, and your response. Would anyone like to ask any questions about that or add on, Patty?
I would like to ask a question of our recent certified coaches. When you first heard the four things that you can control, what was your response to those?
Yeah, I was going to share that I am a yoga teacher. And so for me, that first step of the breath really made a lot of sense, because focus on the breath drops me right into my body and this present moment. And I actually used this when my dog got loose and ran away, and I just started focusing on the highway's right there and other dogs and just all of the negative. And then I like thought of these 4 things, came right into the breath, slowed everything down, the momentum, just to come to the breath. Totally slowed that heart racing, my thoughts just kind of going crazy. So yeah, the first step of the breath really made a lot of sense. And I can say that these 4 things I can control have really been powerful in those real life situations, like when my dog gets loose. And noticing, like that first step of awareness, noticing, wow, I'm really out of control right now. And for me, I notice it most when I'm alone, or like when, like, I won't even necessarily like show it out, outwardly, but then like in my mind, or yeah, it's been really powerful to just notice and then come back to the breath, come back to the next steps of the focus, the imagination, and then the response, which is a much more effective way to approach situations than being in this out of control feeling. So.
Okay, so then what happened with your dog?
And then she came back.
Yeah,
I pretty much put it out there that she's going to just appear on my front porch, focused my energy on that other way of how I wanted things to go. And then sure enough, within a few minutes, she was back, and I hadn't just expend all of this energy on something that, she was probably just on the other side of the fence.
So cool. And our dogs, we know that there's therapy dogs that are in tune with our energy, and they can tell when there's going to be an epileptic seizure. They can tell so many things. And so when I'm in my reactive mind, oh no, what if? And I start looking for my dog, like I've done before, it actually repulses her. Have you ever seen someone do that, yelling at their dog, come, or if they just, when they come, they have the picture of when I say come, the dog comes, the chances of the dog coming are infinitely higher. And it doesn't mean that if we can control these things that life is going to be perfect, but it does mean I'm going to feel better. Yes. I'm going to know I did my part, and I was part of the cure, not part of the disease.
And what I also heard you say, Mackenzie, in your story was another key concept that we teach is awareness, acceptance, and self-love. And you practiced that. You became aware that you were frightened and scared and feeling out of control. And you brought in acceptance to that. You didn't judge yourself. You didn't shame yourself. This is what happens when we get scared. I'm scared, and now what would I rather feel? And you then brought in the tools of your breath, your focus, the imagination, and then there Daisy was on your doorstep. Wonderful.
So that's what we're doing when we're training coaches, is training their ears to listen for the normal human stuff that we do that is empowering or disempowering, and then bring awareness to our clients and what they're doing, and let them know they have a choice. And in that, all things are possible. But otherwise, we're in a reactive mind, and we keep things going the same old way. And when we're looking at the 4 things you can control, you can't control a reaction. A reaction is something that happened after you've already built yourself up, got built up in anxiety, and it's already there, and finally you got to do something with it. You got to either run after the dog, or and the important thing to know is you can then control your response to yourself when you react. And when you respond to yourself like, oh, I just showed up like I didn't want to show up again. I just bit the head off my child, or whatever. When you respond to yourself with love and acceptance, you can start to disassemble those patterns of reactivity that run the show. And this is how we help people really get out of anxiety and develop literally new neural pathways, new habits of responding inside yourself to anxiety or to yourself after you've done something out of built up anxiety. So it doesn't have to run the show of your life. And I wish everyone would know how to do this. So many people are taking anti-anxiety medication. And yes, it brings the anxiety down. But our thought patterns and our own emotion is way more powerful than that. And so, again, you can't control a reaction. And I want, if anybody takes anything away from here, is this: you can't control your reaction, but you can control how you're going to respond to yourself when you show up in a way you didn't want to. And that comes into our number one most important job. And that is to love yourself no matter what. And maybe even love your dog, even though she's scratching at the door during a webinar. But just love yourself no matter what. Love yourself that the dog doesn't know how to do that yet. And she's not, whatever. Take a deep breath. And as I'm saying this, the dog stops scratching at the door.
Nice.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. And something else that you said about choice. We always have a choice in our thoughts. But that to many, many people that I coach is it's like a light bulb moment, because we are so patterned into, if it's negative self-talk or the fear and anxiety, that is an unconscious pattern. And then to recognize I can change that, and flipping, some of the very simple thoughts of I can't to I can, I don't know to I know, and seeing what parts of you do know what you need. Like that's where checking in with the heart and asking your heart, what do I need right now, will guide you to the simple next step. And coaching is all about taking steps, little baby steps, and really over time, we can see transformation just from week to week. And that's what's so exciting about being a life coach. Like, it's so fulfilling to watch individuals learn these tools, practice these tools, and come back and share how relationships are changing. They, bottom line is they are feeling better about themselves and better able to navigate the hard stuff in life, because it all ebbs and flows. And so should we share a little bit about just the certification process?
So I just wanted to recap what we covered, and that is the number one most important job is to just love yourself no matter what. The thing we promised we deliver is the 4 things you can control, and we did cover that. The other thing that we wanted to make sure that you knew was when and how to help others, especially when you're frustrated with them. And that is to stop and do your number one most important job and help yourself first. Herein lies one of the biggest problems with helping people, caregiving people who love to help others, is someone else needs something and I'm frustrated and I go and I jump over there to help them before getting grounded, like Mackenzie explained in the dog. Don't go jump after the dog. Wait, help yourself first. Oh my God, I'm scared. What do I want? Okay, now I can help you. And so that's the number one most important thing when you're working with others. If you're frustrated with them, leave them alone, come back over here and control the 4 things you can control. Get clear on what you want. Love yourself even though you're frustrated. Listen to that voice, that thought that's saying, I can't help them, or here they are again. And navigate the picture in your imagination. What would I like? Oh, what if I could say something that was helpful? That would be awesome. Okay, now what's one step I can take? And that answer will be infinitely more powerful and effective if you take care of yourself first.
And that's an example of a powerful question. What one step can I take?
Mhm. Yeah. So in review of the things that we promised to deliver, then the life coach certification would be great to share.
Okay. So we have a new class that's starting on January 11th, and how the life coaching certification works. It's a 4-month long program where you are meeting with me for 90 minutes, where we're integrating all of the tools, and prior to each class on your own, you are viewing pre-recorded videotapes that Patty has taught a coaching class. So she is explaining the concepts, modeling the concepts with a group of individuals. For me, it was like watching a Netflix series that I wanted to binge because I love this work. So there's a great benefit of getting Patty's experience and her way of teaching, and you get to view that on your own, and you can always access those recordings as a library. Then we meet once a week, we integrate, we practice coaching with one another, we practice the tools. There are mentor sessions. You coach others outside of class and bring those, then I mentor you. There's, following the 4 months, a 6-month, once a month business support to help you. We have the weekly accountability, and everyone feels in the flow, and then you become a graduate, but you're still being supported for 6 months to whether you're need help on a particular tool, whether you need help on how to have a service conversation with somebody, and a consultation. So in addition, you receive a 285-page manual that is, Mackenzie had shared with me, she's like, I'm opening this all the time and just referencing it and using it. And then a wonderful book that Patty has written, Flip Your Focus, that's just a beautiful tool that you can I think of it as like a really nice, I love gifting that book to people, and a great kind of, I need a little help, let's open it up, and boom, there are some quick, powerful tools. What else am I missing?
The quarterly success. So once a quarter, there's a group coaches success circle for all of the graduates to be able to come and attend. And there's, because the industry and because life is always changing and evolving, there's a way to check in with other people and learn from each other.
Yeah, and those are wonderful. I love the quarterly success circles because we're all a group of coaches doing whatever we're doing, and then sharing and supporting, and it feels very collaborative. That it does not feel that I have gotten ideas, and I've had other coaches support me in upcoming programs. And then maybe you want to share, Patty, about the self-coaching?
Sure. So after certification, a lot of people start, they don't know why they want it. They don't even know why they're doing it. That's a perfect place to be. Some people think they're coming in to start a life coaching practice, and they realize that they just simply want to use these tools in their everyday life. And then they use it at the job they're in. Sometimes people get promotions in the job they're in. Sometimes people have new jobs, and they say that the certification on their resume actually helped them get new jobs. Other people do it and they start life coaching practices, and they enjoy that as a part-time or full-time job. And some people have joined the Clear Inner Focus team. So if you're considering this program, Susie is teaching this program, and it's, like she said, the 15 recorded videos of my class in 2020, where you get to see the integration. But the best part about any learning is actually applying it in your life. And that's where Susie reinforces and helps you apply it in your life and really get on the bike and ride and develop a community of other people. That course is $3,600. And it is people tell me 15 years later, it's still life-changing for them. So I just am thrilled with the investment that people make, and you know that it could be, many programs are more than that. And I also understand that's really expensive, and some people don't like to learn in group. So we have it's a self-coaching program where you can take the course by itself for on its own, the videos that Susie was talking about, and learn on your own. And we offer it as a program where you buy it, but you can gift it to a friend, because the real stuff happens in your life and in conversation. So I fully endorse the full certification program where you're digging in lifetime with the group. And if it's too much, you can't afford it, or you just want to dip in, if you're at a party, you like a small group, or you like to be on your own and watch people, the other program is also available for you. I know a lot of people after the last certification program too, they would meet weekly and just practice the tools. And they started partnering up and being coaches for each other, and they'd meet weekly and exchange coaching. And these are things that can come from both aspects of the program.
Mackenzie or Acacia, since you are two recent graduates, anything that you would like to share about your experience?
It has been really powerful to go through this training, and what you were just mentioning, Patty, with getting to partner up. Acacia and I actually just had a session this past week where we each had 45 minutes to be a coach and then 45 minutes to be the client. So it is really powerful to be able to receive the coaching as well. I know I've said this a lot, like in a one-on-one and my testimonial, but I really feel like I am like learning a new language. So it is helpful to like find those people, you know, like us here, or those quarterly coaching circles, to be able to more than just scratch the surface. Like I feel like we really get to like practice and immerse ourselves. So yeah, it's been really awesome. I think that it's a powerful program, whether you are wanting to go through it just completely for yourself, or wanting to use it in more of like a professional way. I think that, yeah, it's just beneficial for anyone to learn these tools. I did have one question, just because I'm curious. That was about the program where you can do it on your own and you get all those videos and then you get to gift it to someone. Is that the same price because two people are receiving it, or is the $3,600?
Well, thank you. No, the self-study is $600, and then you gift it to a friend for free.
Wow, you're getting just so much value for $600. I will say I personally really enjoyed the live classes. Every week it kept me super accountable. You both have talked about the pattern interrupt, and I think that is practicing that, to come into class every week, to commit to yourself and have that time is super powerful. And then in addition, getting to connect with these other coaches, getting to have those conversations. And something that's been powerful for me in those weekly sessions has been just like a general reminder that we're all going through what you call normal human stuff. We're all experiencing these things. And so to come together, even if I'm not experiencing it at that moment in my life, you know, someone else may be, or I have. And so it just feels very like comforting and safe. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the live classes, but I think for, you know, this is for like even starting out, maybe even doing like that self-study, to know that that's out there is awesome.
Yeah, the self-study comes if people choose that route and they really want to do the integration with Susie Live, then that you get a $200 discount on starting with a certification class. So it is a baby step if it's something that you're not sure of, and you can dip your toe in. And also we offer a 2-week money back guarantee. So if people do in either of these. We don't want you in class if it's not the right fit for you. I don't want you to be, struggling with the class or be punished because you tried something new. So it's a safe way to try something new, because that's what we're all about, creating a safe space for people to try something new.
Right. Yes. Great. Thank you so much for that feedback, Mackenzie. Acacia, do you have anything that you want to add?
Yeah. I personally just really connected with it. I am really passionate about connecting, and that was my intention coming into here, is connection. And I think this is a great outlet to use our gifts. And one of my gifts personally is communication. I just am a people person. I love to talk and connect with people. And this class has really given me a different way to connect with people, just more on a human level, and to also have understanding in a human level as well, not only with others, but myself. And we talked about learning, self-love, and awareness. And I think that, that's just really powerful to introduce to anybody. And when, that ignites, it really clicks and kind of opens your eyes in a different perspective. So I think that overall this class has aided me in getting new perspective for myself and gaining new perspective for other people, and also introducing them to that as well. And you can see me just talking about it. I'm very lit up. It's something that I'm super passionate about and I love, and I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to now take this with me anywhere. And I really feel like it's just changed conversations for me and connections that I have with people in general. It just is. It's not just surface level anymore. It's like, let's talk about it. Like, I think that, when I get to know people now, I don't ask them what is your favorite color? I'm just like more so wondering more interpersonal things about people, and reminding people that, it's okay. These things that you do, it's all right. And I love to be able to tell myself that, like, if I'm like freaking out, it's okay, and to witness people in those moments too. And maybe I can share with you what I know and what I've learned and a little bit of my practices. So super grateful to have been a part of the course, and super grateful to be a living advocate for it. And just thank you ladies so much, everybody here in this group, for everything, that all the energy and effort that you put forward into cultivating this.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your gift of communication so clearly,
Yeah.
Alicia. Yeah, that was
Beautiful.
great to hear. So if you're interested in the program, we'll give you some links, clearinnerfocus.com, the Life Coach certification, the other program's called Self-Study, called Life Coach Skills for Everyday Life. We're here for you. If you're interested in the program, you can schedule a free call with me and I can tell you more about it, or I can connect you right with Susie and you can find out how you can sign up.